Hello and welcome to Laytechs Weekly, episode 7th April 2021. Laytechs Weekly is brought to you by Laytechs, your protection from tech ignorance. My name is Sean. This week's news of the week, Google Pixel 6 will have its own chip. Looks like the battle for proprietary mobile chips is getting strong. Google's new flagship, which should be named Pixel 6, may feature their in-house GS101, quote, Whitechapel chip, which will be the first for the company. It appears to be a triple cluster setup with a tensor processing unit, TPU, which is good for machine learning applications compared to Snapdragon's focus on CPUs, which is more on the computing processing itself, not so much of machine learning processing, because Google has a focus on machine learning, so it does make sense for them to want to kind of like custom make a chip that caters to their requirements. There will also be a security chip similar to their old Titan M as well. Titan M chip is the same kind of security chip they use to store fingerprints, face scanners and stuff like that. So that will be there. Google's move is in line with the same strategy Apple has been using to create a walled garden that works well among their own set of devices. Comparatively, most Android devices depend heavily on Qualcomm, which makes it difficult for Android devices to stand out from each other, because whatever the hardware makers want to make for Android, right, it is limited by Qualcomm's ability and also willingness to cater to those hardware devices. For example, Google wants to focus on machine learning, and Qualcomm says, well, you guys are the only ones, right? So it doesn't make monetary sense for me to customize something using a TPU. So, and moreover, Google, you guys don't sell a lot of devices, so no, I'm not going to make it. So it makes sense for them to do it. And if Samsung wants to focus on something else, and if OnePlus wants to focus on something else, if Huawei wants to focus on something else, so Qualcomm is not able to cater to everybody's customizability just because they want it. So it does make sense for hardware makers who are big enough to actually focus building their chips in-house. As the mobile OS matures, Android devices need to find ways to stand out from each other, because whatever they have to stand out from each other now is very novelty based. They need to build something that pushes the limits. Like Samsung is actually doing something like that Apple is doing, which is including proprietary chips in there, because Samsung builds the Exynos, so they know how to build chips, right? So they include their proprietary chips in their devices that communicates with all their other peripheral devices, and it creates like a similar ecosystem like what Android is doing. So if you have a Samsung laptop, earbuds and phone, the experience using them is far better than having all these three different brands working together. So yeah, we hope that this will spark a lot of proprietary chips coming, and this fragmentation will in turn create more competition. So Qualcomm will, I guess, wake up from its sleep and start to be competitive again. LG is leaving the smartphone business. They've been hinting for this a while now, and it's finally official. LG will no longer make smartphones. This is particularly sad as they were actually one of the largest market leaders in the early days of Android push. They even made the classic and timeless Google Pixel 5, which I loved, and to be honest, there is no phone that came close to that. It's a middle range phone that does everything it needs to do. It is so perfect. It is so well balanced. Until today, I haven't found a phone that can do that. The company will focus its resources on other growth areas like electric vehicle components, connected devices, smart homes, robotics, artificial intelligence, and more. Yes, LG is a huge conglomerate, even without smartphones, so it can make do. This will also mean that their rollable phones may never see the light of day. And seeing as LG and Samsung share the same TV production factory or screen and monitor production factory, I guess Samsung will be the one that will push out rollable phones first instead of, well, from the Korean side. I know that from the Chinese side, there are a lot of rollable phone concepts that are already coming out as well. So goodbye LG, thank you so much for the long run, and we hope that you do better elsewhere. Tim Cook discusses AR plans, AR as in augmented reality. In a conversation with Kara Swisher of the New York Times, the Apple CEO said AR could improve conversations and discussions. Right now, AR on mobile devices are nothing far from what Snapchat can do with their filters. Even on iPads and iPhones, it's the same. It's just novelty stuff, very basic stuff. But Apple promises to take it further. He imagines AR being used in health, education, retail, and gaming. Apple has been rumored to be working on a mixed reality headset, which is set for release sometime in 2022, hopefully, or maybe this year, because the WWDC banners seem to have a lot of people wearing glasses with reflective details. So a lot of people are saying that it could be this WWDC, but it's very skeptical as well because it's very, very early for Apple. Apple usually waits until a market is kind of like in good growth before they push their product out, because they're never the first movers, but they're always the ones that build the best ones. That's what they want to be. Yahoo answers closing doors, probably for the better. In 2005, Yahoo created a Q&A platform for people to help each other with various topics in a knowledge-sharing format. It's a Q&A platform where people ask questions and other people would answer them, and then they'll pick the best answers. It's not the first, but one of the most widely used ones. It was a good platform in the beginning when the internet users were genuine and were able to help each other and want to make the internet a better place. I do remember a better part of the internet where everybody there were nice people. That world is sadly gone now. Every social media and Q&A platform needs to battle cyberbullying, harassment, fake news, conspiracies, while walking a fine line where strawberries won't get bruised. So it's so difficult to cater to everybody. You have everybody who's trying to hurt everybody else, and you have those other people who's so easily hurt by every other comment and feedback or anything that, you know, the internet has turned into a cesspool. We have reached a point where tight policing and moderation needs to be built at the forefront of anything, or it will be quickly turned into a cesspool of violence and hate. So goodbye, Yahoo Answers. You will be missed because you represented a time when the internet was populated by honest and genuine people. Hats off to you. Sonos finally makes a sensible device, maybe. For those who have owned older Sonos speakers will know how annoying it is to use, and how Sonos deliberately limits its functionality just so it can have control over its users. Okay, it tells you stuff like Bluetooth is it's not good and you need to use its apps and connect via Wi-Fi and stuff like that. To be honest, it's all bullshit. They just want to control what you listen to and how long you listen to and how long your lifespan of your devices. For example, the Play 5 does not come with Bluetooth because, you know, Bluetooth is not effective for them. That's because they want users to play everything through its app, which doesn't work with every other app in the market, right? So, for example, if you have a smaller podcasting app, you can't use it. Why? Because Sonos doesn't have the app integration. So you have to use the bigger one. So it's very difficult to it is not as democratic and as free market as how we all want it to be. And Sonos was even called out for attempting to artificially end the life of older devices by not allowing them to use the Sonos app. There is no way to use the Sonos app. Well, some of them, there is no way to use the Sonos devices without the app. And if the app does not accept your device, you got to go out and buy a new one. And it's a very unethical way of doing business. Of course, they have backed out and changed their ways ever since. With this device, which marks probably a new and improved Sonos direction. The Sonos Roam is a portable speaker that looks a lot like the UE Boom 3 and the JBL Flip 5, but instead of a cylindrical shape, it's a triangle shape with honeycombs on the inside. So it looks quite nice. It has AirPlay 2, wireless charging, and it can even play music via Bluetooth. That's Sonos finally accepting they can't beat what the market wants, because if the market wants Bluetooth connection, they need to give them Bluetooth connection. And you can connect it with any other Sonos speaker at home as well, which is what Sonos have been known to do. It is slightly more expensive, so if you are interested to buy this, the Sonos Roam, I suggest you watch a bit of the reviews first before deciding, because for its price, you really have to love Sonos to be able to cough out the price. But then again, there are people who have been known to buy the Apple's AirPod Max, so you know, who am I to judge? And in terms of connectivity, you may want to check with people who have actually used it. What are the limitations? They say that Bluetooth is connected, but there could be caveats and asterisks that only people who physically review these items will know. So yeah, go enjoy it. There will be no tech of the week this week. We'll come back next week if there is some. Laytechs Weekly is available on Anchor FM, Google, Overcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and I post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Laytechs Weekly, episode 7 April 2021. My name is Sean. Stay safe. See you next week. Bye-bye.